My name is Bernard von NotHaus. I'm the monetary architect of the Liberty Dollar. I'm the person who designed and developed the Liberty Dollar, which really started with my epiphany on September the 11th, 1974. So after that epiphany, I wrote an economic research paper titled To No Value. This was just a few months before gold was legalized. But of course, if you had money, every broker set you up in Canada, sell you as much gold as you wanted. I found that basically offensive because that's the right of money. You know, money always talks. But what about other people? Well, interesting enough, most of the people I was in contact with, my neighbors and things, they all were trust fund babies. They all had money too, you know. So I wrote my paper and I went around and I sold it, and all of a sudden I found myself going from living in a little house that we built on $30 a month without a car or electricity to flying around dealing in the gold market. So I went from that environment to a 25-year period of becoming, for lack of a better definition, a monetary expert and designing a particular currency that would function in parallel with the US dollar. So after I did all that, I was ready to retire, and that's where you really got to make that decision. Do you go off and do something like this? Ballsy. Give up living on Diamond Head, and I mean, do you chuck everything and follow your patriotic inclinations? So I relied upon the only message that I really learned about politics or about the Republican system, and that is, in the Republican system, as a citizen, the only thing you're really required to do is to do what you think is best for the country. So I knew there was something wrong with the money, so I followed my heart, if not my pocketbook, which was rewarded with $6,300. I launched Liberty Dollar, grew into 85 million, 250,000 people using it. Then there was the warning for the U.S. Mint. Then there was the raid where they confiscated 13 tons of gold and silver. And then there was the arrest. And then there was the trial. And then there was conviction. And sentenced finally after 3.5 years. And here I sit.
How would you describe a monetary architect? That's a moniker you've given yourself. What is a monetary architect?
Person who designs and develops monetary systems. Originally, it's a pun to a certain extent, because originally, academically, and my profession before I got into the gold market was an architect on the big island of Hawaii, right? And we just had this cute little cabin that we made, and even, it was just cute. 2 young kids in love, you know, a lot of drugs, sex, and rock and roll. I mean, no electricity, who cares? You know, it was just a wonderful thing. And I did a series of houses on the big island, all of them a lot bigger than mine. But that was cool. But so when I had to describe myself, I have always described myself as an architect. And so, you know, there's monetary economics. There's always these things that are attached to monetary. So I said, well, the apt description would be a monetary architect. So that's who I am. I'm the first, the only, and probably last. I mean, after getting arrested and all this, do you think there's going to be too many people chasing after going down my field? You know, I don't have too many followers right now, but I don't give a damn. I'm in my 70s, right? So this is a time to do something that you believe in.
So what did the government end up charging you with?
Well, originally there was a variety of different charges, but basically they charged me with fraud. That had to be dropped. You know why? There was no damaged party. There was no fraud. They couldn't come up with anybody that I defrauded. Matter of fact, they didn't ever come up with any victims. Matter of fact, in a case this large, no restitution. I didn't pay any restitution because I didn't cheat anybody. I didn't defraud anybody. Matter of fact, everybody profited. So it was one of counterfeiting, violating 486, which is using a similar product in the marketplace, like a U.S. dollar, and the fraud, and then there was the overall charge of being the ringleader. So that was ringleader. Well, I was the ringleader. I was a monetary architect.